Kind of looks like the 4700 is going to ref this boxing match here. So to the bottom of the frames, there's almost a 5-inch difference right there. That's the bottom of the frame rail. So that's a pretty good drop on its own. And I think the cab from the frame to the top of the cab is several inches difference. Let's get a measurement on that. It's about a 61-inch height from the top of the frame rail to the top of the cab on the 1600. So that's about 56 inches, but that's not counting the cab lights. That's just to the top of the cab roughly. So there's another 5 inches. So that should drop the cab about 10 inches in height, but I don't know if that's enough. I think we want to go a little lower than that. So that would put the cab step at about 10 inches off the ground. Like to be a little bit lower than that, so we'll see if we can't find some more height to drop somewhere else. But I'm assuming I'm catching everything. So 10 inches overall drop. Maybe there's more somewhere else, I don't know, that I'm just not seeing, but I think I could drop a couple inches in the suspension, and especially with the air suspension, run it a little bit low. Didn't start the camera, or it didn't have the camera on when I started the truck, but cranked, fired right up, died, cranked it up, fired right back up. So started up really good once it's got gas in it, and I guess ain't sit forever. So not sure how much of that you can see on camera, but that snow, ice, and slush is definitely going to put a stop to me working on the truck today. So yeah, we're quitting right now. Pick back up when this lets up. All right, so we're back on these two beautiful beasts behind me here. The S model 7.3 IDI Loadstar, like a 390 something gas engine. I'm sure you've probably seen in the other video if you've watched it. If not, gonna cab swap the Loadstar onto this Low Pro S model chassis. So my first obstacle is to get it running good. So it runs, it's just hard to start, which, you know, 7.3s are, or these IDIs are kind of known for that. But it's also getting some air in the coolant. So I'm not sure if it's coming from a bad head gasket or some other cause. So we're going to kind of look into that today and see if we can determine where that might be coming from. So let's get the hood up on this thing and see what we got. So I would have got on this sooner, but with work and weather, this is the first opportunity I've actually had to come here and work on this thing. So here in southeastern Kentucky, had a bunch of snow and really couldn't do anything. So finally got some warmer weather. It's showing 53 degrees right now, and good enough for me to get here and work on some of this. So Sure, a lot of you guys have seen JC Smith Projects channel, but I've had a lot of good comments, a lot of good info, but he told me a quick and easy thing to check where it was getting the air into the coolant was unhook the air compressor. So the compressor is liquid cooled as well with the same antifreeze that's running through the engine. So if there's something going on in this air compressor, it can be pumping air into the coolant. So we're going to start that. It's easy to take the belt loose, so we're going to pop the belt off and see if that's actually causing any air bubbling or any air getting in the coolant like it had been. So that's going to be my number one thing to check. The next thing is if it still is bubbling, we'll check the coolant. That was another good comment I had, was to use one of those kits that check for exhaust gas in the coolant, which I've got one, so we'll do that next. And then from there we'll check compression and stuff like that. So we're just trying to keep diving deeper and deeper till we find the problem. Hopefully we find it very soon by maybe the compressor. If that's it, great. If not, we'll, like I said, we'll move on to the head gasket issue. So if that's what it is. So yeah, let's get to it. Well, that was harder than I thought it was going to be. So I finagled the belt out around the fan, so let's crank this thing up and see if it makes a difference. That's full. I mean, I poured almost 2 gallons. Listen to that. Was it really low on antifreeze or what? Why does it make that sound? That's weird. I don't think I have any more antifreeze to put in. I had to put water in it, and I don't know how much I can mix to where it will not freeze. But let's start it up and see what happens. Now I've done nothing to clean up these connections since the last video, so it's still all these cobbled together, and I mean, look at that wire, that's horrible. But we're gonna just run with it right now and see if it's gonna work. So cross your fingers that this will work, because these are bad. So we can figure this mess out, how to get it all together here. So we got the red wire going to the ground post because it's backwards. So at least I didn't mix it up, because I burnt the thing down probably. I heard stuff making noise, so I guess we're getting some sort of contact through this mess. Now, hope nobody thinks that this is going to be permanent. I know I've used it twice now, but it's not going to be permanent. Let's see if we can get this thing cranking. Now I'm already going to bet on this thing not starting. I know the return lines leak. I've not hit it with no starting fluid. It's been cold. It's 51 degrees now, but it's been cold the last several days before. Today's been the warmest. We got a little warmer yesterday, but today's been the warmest, so let's see what this thing does. I'll be danged if that second battery didn't help that thing. Cranked a lot better. So maybe the fuel return lines is what's causing it not to have fuel. So we'll hit her with a little bit of ether and see if she lights off. I don't know if there's a little bit of pressure built up from heat or if actually getting gas in it, or exhaust gas into it. So give her a little more. I picked up this kit. I think I got this at Advance Auto. I've had it for a little while, but see if I can remember how to use this thing. I think we fill it up to this line, and then we draw the air out of the radiator cap through this gas, and if it turns yellow, from blue to yellow, then it's got combustion gases in it. You're supposed to hook it to a vacuum line on the vehicle, but I've got a little syringe here I can draw through with it, so let's see what it does. Doing that on its own. That's probably a head gasket. It still ain't turned yellow though. What do you think? Engine shot? So this probably would have been good to know. Probably don't work on diesel. I had it laying around though, but yeah. That's too much air coming through there for anything. That's ridiculous. So something's going on there. Something's bad wrong. So I think the engine needs to come out, and we'll see what's going on and check her out. All right, so what do we figure out? We figured out that something's bad wrong. We know it's not the air compressor, so I guess that's good. That's positive. But it's at least probably a head gasket or that cavitation that you read about on these things. I don't know if it is that or not, but it could be. But also, like JC Smith commented, or JC Smith projects commented on, saying he thought he heard some bottom end knock. I didn't notice it before, but when I started up this time, something sounded really bad. So I think there is some knock somewhere. So he's got some good ears. You heard that on the video, so that's pretty darn good. I didn't even hear it, and I was standing here, but I heard it this time. So I think there's something really going on with this engine. So is it worth saving? I don't know. We'll pull it out, take it apart eventually, and see. But I guess we'll have to end this video here because ain't as much as I can do. We're running out of daylight, and really don't want to get started turning this apart just yet. So my plan now is to, when I come back, I'll be gone a few days. So when I get back, pull the radiator, pull the hood off, pull the engine out, and then we'll clean it up, disassemble it, just kind of see what's going on, see if it's even worth saving, because it might be junk. It might, you know, it might be salvageable. I don't know. Probably not. It might be more trouble than it's worth to rebuild it. So in the meantime, we'll be looking at other options as well for power. So has this changed my mind on the project? No. I'm still gonna swap the cab, because I think that'd be easier than swapping all the suspension stuff to the Loadstar. And I could continue using the gas engine, which does okay, but it probably wouldn't be no better RPM wise with the gear ratio that's in this truck, because the red line for the gas engine in this 7.3 is probably roughly the same. I don't know how close they are to being the same, but it probably don't rev too high, and this probably revs a little higher than a inline 6, so probably about the same speed, probably about the same power, honestly. But I would like to go back with a diesel, so I would like to either fix this one or find another one and throw in this. So that's what we're going to look at now, is pulling the drivetrain out of this, seeing what's going on, possibly find something else to go back in, but still swap the cab to this chassis versus swapping the suspension to that frame. So yeah, anyway, we got some stuff to think about. Sorry this wasn't a long video, but we learned a lot really quick. So yeah, let's look up some stuff and get on something else in the meantime.